most writing life, I've actually like taken stuff that I know or people that I know, and then just kind of like cut them in half, stuck them onto somebody else. And for some peculiar reason, this book is like all made up. I mean, all the characters I kind of made up. There's nobody in there that I know. What I do, the writing process is, and I guess it comes out of acting, and I learned it from my wife, who's an actor, I'm not, is to say, all right, you take yourself and you imagine yourself doing those things or believing those things, and you try to find what in yourself would go there and leave the rest behind, so that to you this is a sensible way to act. So those are choices you would make. In a very literal sense, all characters in any book are the author. I mean, there can't be anything else. So, so obviously there, since I do write these horrible, vicious, torturing villains from time to time, there must be some really sick parts in there. But they're minuscule, and I have to exaggerate them immensely too. Yeah.
Is your book, does it have any message? I'm thinking of your presentation. Is there a message in that book similar to what you just presented?
There is. But I guess a three-part answer to that. The first part is, yes, there is. Second part is, fiction has its own demands, which is that everything has to relate to the action, to the goal-seeking behavior of the characters. And if you throw in long essays that don't directly bear on what they're doing, the fiction dies. The solution to that in this case is that whatever I felt really didn't fit in the book is going into a series of essays on the website, which is referred to at the end of the book. I think the 4 are up, and I should be doing the next 4 or 5 over the next couple of weeks, and there'll be X number of them. I don't know how many. So there's sort of like 2 books. One that you buy, and it's certainly worth every nickel, and one that's free, which pick up on the website in pieces. The final part of the answer is, I always felt that the end of the book in particular was a secular humanist or atheist manifesto. Some of my religious friends have read it and told me that it was deeply religious, much to my shock and surprise. And I just thought that's fine. I mean, a lot of religious people like the book. A lot of unreligious people like the book.
Is the message of a moral tone, promoting morality, or?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's, religion is important as a public political issue. As a private issue, if you do in the privacy of your own home, I don't think it's any more threatening than masturbation or, lighting candles and burning incense. It's fun. When it influences the public sphere, then it can be useful. Anybody who watched the civil rights movement or participated in it knew that it was immensely motivated by religious impulses. I just went to Iran I was on a mission for peace, which I could not say with a straight face the entire time I was there, but we were. It was Fellowship for Reconciliation. I have a group of 14 of us. I would say 10 were very religious people and 12 were Christians. And they were in many ways religiously motivated. You know, when religion embraces morality that I like, I think it's great or tolerable. And when it embraces morality that I think is god-awful, I think it's threatening and should be opposed. And I guess the solution to that is to try to break the claim that religion owns morality, which is what the book is about. It's about a guy who's religious and he thinks that what the church tells him is always the right thing, and he keeps coming up against situations where his innate sense of morality says, you know, there's something wrong here. I don't get it.
So
does that answer your question, or have I got?
Yes, it does. Just one final question. The morality, the moral message, does it sort of leave you that you yourself has to formulate the morality, or are you expressing a direction as or a basis of morality? In other words, are you promoting or denigrating religion, or are you just saying, I'm neutral, you figure it out?
When I wrote the book, I thought I was denigrating religion, but apparently I didn't. Apparently, no, I mean, again, it's, I don't think it's a simple issue. I do not think you can get rid of religion by saying it's bad any more than you can get rid of drinking by saying it's bad. I think the chemistry is so exactly the same. You know, I mean, I don't think, another thing that I believe is that Marx was not making a metaphor that religion is the opium of the people. It's a literal truth, except that it's much more variable than that. Sometimes it's the Prozac of the people. Sometimes it's the LSD of the individual. Sometimes it's the opium. But it obviously is chemical. It's obviously reasonably addictive. Religions obviously use a whole set of things that induce chemical changes, okay, which is not saying a great deal. Anything you do, whether you speak or walk or stand or sleep or eat or have a thought, induces a chemical change. So they just kind of like organize themselves around producing a set of them. They've done it unconsciously, but yeah, it does.
Just one last question. It seems to me your approach is from the individual standpoint. Do you anywhere touch upon the social pressures, but indoctrination of how religion comes about from a social standpoint?
Well, I mean, in the novel I'm talking about it from the individual standpoint, because it's about individual people.
Yeah.
In the essays I'm talking about it from an external group standpoint. Yeah. The indoctrination, again, the distinction is between that we do things and how we do things, right? More ridiculous example is fashion. And if you walk down the street, you'll notice that everybody has a fashion statement. Many of them are bizarre and ridiculous. Some of them are boring and tired. But everybody makes fashion statements. Okay, it's universal. And the question is, why do we do that? The question isn't why are, skirts and pants that hang below the navel in fashion this year, and they weren't 10 years ago. The question is, why do we have fashion? Right? To which there is an answer if you want it, but...
Yeah, so more...
So the question isn't why do we have any particular religion, or why do we indoctrinate people in religion? Because everybody does that, okay? And the answer is because people are trying to order the universe around them, and this supplies the answers to the unanswerable. And they get it when they're kids because that's when you're learning the world.